I'd now like to introduce our final panel of this event, where we'll hear from Brian Bauer, the President and CEO of Resyngeri, and Joshua Speros, the Innovation Manager at BASF. Brian and Josh will be talking about their partnership and how they collaborated with the help of the Alliance to End Plastic Waste and Plug and Play. Take it away, Josh.
Great. So thanks, Sophia. This is Josh Speros. Really honored to be here representing BASF and to talk about our involvement with the Alliance to End Plastic Waste and also plug and place initiatives there as well. Maybe brief words of introduction. So I have a PhD in polymer chemistry. I've been with BASF for the past 7 years. I'm currently an innovation manager for BASF on the West Coast, and I'm really focused on scouting and partnership with academics, research institutions, and startups. So it's really, plug and play is really a good fit for my role out here on the West Coast. And maybe I can turn it over to you, Brian, to introduce yourself.
Yes, we're really excited. It's an honor to work with BASF. A little bit about Resyngeri. I'm the CEO. We have a process that takes waste plastic and converts it to diesel fuel traditionally, but more recently and more exciting is we're taking the output, making naphtha fuel, and not fuel, but naphtha output for remaking plastic. So this process, what you see behind me here is a 1-ton system. It processes 300 tons per year. We hope to do 300,000 tons per year within the next 3 years. This can be deployed anywhere, any location, and be scalable. So the beauty of the microwave technology that we use is it's very fast, called fast pyrolysis, and it can do things in a very tight location, about 1/5 the size of traditional pyrolysis, and we can deploy it in small towns, medium-sized towns, and again, where the plastic is. So it's highly efficient and flexible.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Brian. It's super cool. Like you have a much cooler background than I do, so I really like that. Maybe I can say a little bit about why BASF joined the Alliance to End Plastic Waste, or maybe actually served as a founding member of the Alliance to End Plastic Waste, and can transition that, Brian, into a little bit of a chat between you and me about what BASF is doing with Resyngeri. So, you know, as you can see, BASF's logo behind me, we create chemistry. And to dig into that mission even a little bit more, BASF's mission is really about we create chemistry for a sustainable future. And I think becoming a founding member of the Alliance to End Plastic Waste is one way in which we demonstrate our commitment to that mission. And like any global challenge, you know, we all have a stake in this problem. And BASF, though we are a very large company, we also know that, you know, in a global problem, we are a very small contributor. And it's only through partnership and innovation across the value chain that we can really hope to be successful. So I think at its core, it's really living BASF's mission. That's why we're part of the Alliance to End Plastic Waste. We're also, to dig into plastics a little bit, a company with a long history of plastic innovation. Currently, our innovations in plastics focus on more what you would call performance materials. So emphasis on lightweighting, composites, innovations around insulation, increasing service lifetimes of our customers' products, even really working on our biodegradable plastics line. And like any of the member companies with a similar history to ours, we certainly recognize the time and the resources that went into these innovations. You know, Brian is living this right now, putting in the time, the effort, and resources to develop a new technology. We know what that takes as well. And I think something that everybody wants to get better at is how do we recapture the intrinsic value of all that effort we put in so that things aren't just waste that end up in landfills or the ocean or what have you. Yeah, so with that, Brian, I don't know if there's any comments you want to add to that before we dive into discussing our partnership?
Yeah, there's a huge amount of work that goes into these systems. And your background and your role is actually teaming up with universities. And I just wanted to mention the University of Minnesota put 12, 13 years in 4 generations of making microwave plastic process work. So we're really taking advantage or teaming up with them real nicely and accelerating our time to market. So it's been about 3 years where we've really actively added engineers to their team and commercialize this. So we're looking forward to turning the corner here and moving towards next year where we scale. Things are going quite well here with the largest provider of, of post-consumer waste. And it's been fantastic, really accelerating to have a team with the University of Minnesota.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Brian. Thanks for adding that. And maybe we can dig in a little bit to our partnership, which we're really excited about. So BSF's partnership with Resyngeri, that's really been enabled through Plug and Play and the Alliance to End Plastic Waste, is really one example of many that BSF has out there, where we're really demonstrating that we're open for business in this space. We're active in the area. We should really be viewed as a partner of choice. And when you think about plastic waste in general, obviously we can't, like I've mentioned before, we can't be restricted to our own operations. And that's why we look to creative and agile startups like Brian and Resyngeri, where we can investigate proof of concept solutions that might help us enable some new innovations on a very global scale. And to dig in a little bit, so BSF has it's a little bit more Europe-centric, but we have what we are calling our ChemCycling initiative. And while we're very proud of that initiative, to some extent, it's very much aligned to European plastic waste and the processes and the programs that they've built around that. And when you get to North America, waste streams are different. Brian knows this better than we do. Waste management is very disjointed. And we need to find some really clever ways of dealing with that as a means of introducing BSF's ChemCycling concept to North America. So Resyngeri's pyrolysis technology, like Brian alluded to, that might provide us a way to bring BSF's ChemCycling concept to North America. And in short, what we're going to be doing with Resyngeri is evaluating samples that they've provided to determine if we can actually directly incorporate those samples from the Resyngeri process into BSF processes. But Brian, feel free to add to that, please.
I just want to say I'm really excited about our PhD people and yours as well, because I think you offer so much in experience in some of these technologies, and we look forward to comparing what you've done and your experience, and can really evaluate the output of what we have. We've been very, very focused on primary, just basic diesel, and through the Alliance to End Plastic Waste and Plug and Play, we've been greatly motivated in the ChemCycling space. And for that reason, all of our recent effort has been in that. We've learned an immense amount, and Dr. Ruan has put a whole lot of his team in parallel with our efforts. So it's not just us, it's the whole world really attacking this issue. And with that, I think it's going to be exciting next year, 2021.
Yeah, I agree. And that's a really good segue maybe into the last question, or the thing I want to discuss, Brian. It's just kind of our hopes, our dreams for 2021, because certainly 2020 has been unprecedented by many definitions of the word. And, for me, what my hopes for 2021 are that we keep the momentum that surprisingly, in my opinion, around sustainability, around plastic waste, has really maintained even during a challenging year with COVID and all the fires in California and all these things. It's really reassuring to see that people's commitment to sustainability has not faltered. And my hope for BSF and our partners and everyone is that we really maintain that momentum. I don't know if you have hopes and dreams for 2021, but it'd be great to hear them.
As things go well and these samples prove out, we look again towards scaling. So again, that initiative of going from 300 tons per year to 300,000 tons per year in such a short time frame, it's possible through the way we scale. We scale like Tesla and their batteries, or server farms and their computers in a horizontal fashion. So if things test out well, we expect to go very fast in 2021. And then as far as collaboration goes, I see the whole world really doing more partnerships like this. And it's going to be a lot of global awareness about plastics. And you see so many different articles coming our way by major publications. The world is getting smarter, and they'll understand more, like we do, that it takes many, many different types of efforts to succeed. And it's not just mechanical recycling, it's chemical recycling. It gets you back to pure chemicals, so you can use in all applications. So that kind of education globally, look forward to that as well.
Yeah, well said, Brian. Yeah, I too am excited for the technical commitment to the problem, not just the social commitment. So I'm with you. So with that, I mean, on my behalf for BASF, thank you to Plug and Play. Thank you to the Alliance to End Plastic Waste, and thank you most importantly to our partner Resyngeri. And Brian, unless you have anything to add, I think we can turn it back over to the Plug and Play team.
Oh, that's good for me. I look forward to our efforts.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Bye.